My name is Dan J. Gregory, and I am committed to hunting down the secrets of business mastery and human performance. My goal for the Unstoppable podcast is to share insights from some of the most successful entrepreneurs, inspiring thought leaders, world-class athletes, and prominent celebrities to help you to become unstoppable in business and life. Each week I'll be bringing you a new interview with an inspiring person and sharing my own results as I pursue the answers to the question, how can I create the ultimate edge in my business, make a significant impact, and live an extraordinary life? Hello and welcome to episode 46 of the Unstoppable podcast. It's Monday solo round. Last Monday, I shared 10 steps to becoming an icon by creating a profile of Beyonce Knowles Carter, showcasing her incredible rise to fame. And then on Thursday, I brought you the recordings from my live interview with Jody Jealous, where we walked through how to build an online business in just 21 days. Now, for my global listeners, you may not be aware, but the European Football Championships came to a close on Sunday evening. And everyone is talking about how Portugal clinched the trophy and the title for the first time ever in their history in emphatic style when the winning goal was struck in extra time, leaving France, their opposition, and the host nation in tears. However, now that the tournament is over and all the teams have returned home, there is one team who captured many hearts and minds during this tournament. It certainly was not England. That team is Wales. And Wales qualified for the first time in a major tournament since 1958. And they went against all odds to achieve their greatest ever performance by reaching the semi-finals, where they were finally knocked out by the eventual winners, Portugal. So in today's episode, I'm going to be evaluating the leadership of the team and the mindset of the players to understand exactly how these unlikely heroes went on to achieve greatness in this tournament. Now, this show is not about football. It's about what we can learn from the unbelievable transformation of this team to help us in our own pursuit for greatness. So regardless of whether you're a football fan or soccer fan to some, then you will still learn a lot about what it takes to create exceptional results in your business and life within this episode. It's not centered on the football. It's all about the success traits of the individuals and the team. So stay tuned. But before I share my insights with you, I will kick off the show as always with the quote of the week and a debrief of my own personal lessons from my interview with Jody Jealous last week, which, by the way, if you've not listened to yet, I strongly advise that you go back and check it out after this episode, because not only was it incredibly valuable, Jody is just an awesome human being and a lot of fun to boot, so you cannot fail to be inspired by her amazing story and her energy. Now, finally, as I've mentioned over the past couple of weeks, as I move one step closer towards the key milestone of 50 episodes, I'm evaluating the format of the show. So if you have any feedback, suggestions, or comments about what topics you'd like covered, or the way the show is structured, or the type of guests that you'd like to hear from on the show, then please do get in touch on the blog over at danjgregory.com. All right, it's time to kick off this week's episode of the quote of the week. And to go with the football theme, this week's quote is from Brazilian legend Pelé. And he says, "Success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, the love of what you're doing or learning to do." And I think that's a wonderful quote and an inspiring quote from a true legend. So let's enter now into the debrief. This is my 4 key takeaways from my time with Jody on Thursday. We did a live Facebook broadcast, and then we took the recordings and created Thursday's episode. Now, the first thing that I really took away, and it's become a bit of a recurring theme over the past few weeks as I've done my debrief, it's around outsourcing and eliminating the things that are not my key strengths or the things that I don't necessarily want to do on a day-to-day basis. So Jody said to overcome the entrepreneurial disease of wanting to do everything ourselves, we can use a process of ADD. Now, some of you may know the term ADD. Jody uses it in a very different way, where A is to automate, D is to delegate, and D, the second D, is to delete. And I think that's a really powerful process. I've never thought about ADD that way around, but every time I hear those 3 letters, that acronym now, I will certainly be thinking about it this way. Thinking about how I can automate certain tasks in my business, certain aspects of my marketing, for example. I'm working very hard on that at the moment, and I'll be sharing exactly what that looks like shortly on a future episode, so you can apply some of those automation lessons in your business. And then delegating, who can you use in your team? If you don't have a team, how can you outsource things to other people? Jody shared some resources within that episode of how you can do that very affordably. And the final piece is to delete. What can you just eliminate from your workload? How can you look at the processes that you have in place right now? What's ineffective? What can you get rid of? What can you scrap completely from your daily to-do list? Now, my second lesson, in Jody's words, is to find your jam. And the way what Jody means by that is to choose a delivery method within your business based upon 3 different things. And by delivery, I'm talking about your marketing delivery, how you communicate with your audience, how you reach your potential customers. And Jody gave a tip in saying, consider how you deliver your marketing based upon one of these 3 things. 1, the needs of your audience. What do your audience actually need? How do they like to receive marketing materials? Number 2, your own skill set. So for example, if you're very extrovert, very outgoing, very visual kind of person, then video would be perfect. If you're good on audio, if you've got a voice for radio, I don't think I have a voice for radio, but I enjoy podcasting, then podcasting might be right for you. So it's about looking at your skill set and where you're best suited for your own marketing message. And then number 3 is what you enjoy. As I just said, I love podcasting. I love doing the interviews. I love getting in here on a Monday and cranking the show for you. I love rocking the mic. So for me, that's my choice. But those 3 things, it really did get me thinking about how I want to go forward. I want to start using Facebook Live, for example. I kind of have been procrastinating a little bit with that. I do need to dive in because Facebook, if you haven't seen, it's prioritizing videos like nobody's business. Like you go on your timeline and they are full of live videos. So need to jump on that trend. But those 3 things, have a think about that for your business for this next quarter. How do you want to deliver your marketing messages going forward? Considering the needs of your audience, your own skills, and what you enjoy. Number 3, this is a really interesting one. Jody says there's no such thing as too many emails. We're talking about automated email sequences within a launch of a new product or program, and just day-to-day general email marketing. Now, this is something I've been evaluating myself, again, thinking forward over the next 90 days and beyond, how I want to start using email. Right now, I'm using it for launch purposes. I'm using it for broadcasting about the podcast, sharing opportunities, and it's usually once or twice a week max. But I'm thinking about how I can use email more effectively. And in the past, I've been a little concerned about sending too many emails. I've been on some email lists where I get a daily email. There was a guy I subscribed to. He sent 3 to 4 emails a day. It was insane. Absolutely insane. It felt like too much to me. That was overwhelmed for me. If you look at my inbox, if I was to click on my phone now, there's like 6,000 unread emails. Actually 8,000. That's an 8, not a 6. I have 5 different folders, one of which I use for subscriptions. So I was considering how many is too many emails. And Jody says there's no such thing as too many emails. And that if you're giving good stuff, then people don't unsubscribe. So in Jody's words, I'd rather have a little list of emails adding value to their lives than a massive list of names who don't give a shit, is the way she put it. So I'll be revamping how I use email. And for you as a listener, if you use email marketing in your business, have a think. There's no such thing as too many emails, according to Jody. I like that viewpoint if you are adding value. And she's right. Actually, there's tons of people I subscribe to that I have subscribed to for absolutely years. I might read 1 in 10 emails, but I know that when I do click on their name, it's always going to be great value. So that's a really interesting point. If you trust in the individual, they're going to provide value, you stay subscribed over the long term. So it's going to make me rethink how I use email. If you're interested to see how that develops, please do make sure you subscribe to my mailing list. Go to danjgregory.com or unstoppablepodcast.com. You can sign up to be part of my email list there. Lots of different stuff going on at the moment, so it's well worth being part of that. Number 4, Jody's response to the question of what does it take to be unstoppable? What does it mean to be unstoppable to you? And she said, you can only fail if you give up. If one thing doesn't work, try a different path. For your big vision or your big dream, just don't give up. Just keep finding ways forward. Now, this was a really pertinent timing for me. Over the last 7 to 14 days, I've been really deep in building an automated marketing funnel for my new product. And it's been a real process of discovery. There's lots of trial and error, lots of technical challenges. I've had to actually swap some of the software I'm using for an upgraded software package. And, you can feel kind of distracted. You think, am I doing the right thing? But, that message came at the right time. Never give up on your big dream or your big vision. Just keep finding different ways. there was the possibility of giving up is not there. It's never there for me. But the finding different ways, sometimes it can be frustrating. I was pulling my hair out with some of these technical challenges, but it reminded me to stay focused, to keep my eyes on the prize. So hopefully there's something in there for you. If you're listening to that today, stay focused. You can only ever fail if you give up. If one thing doesn't work, keep trying, try a different path. You'll find a way. Stay committed. So the session with Jody was action-packed, and I've got pages of notes. But these are just my top 4 takeaways. But please do come and share your own takeaways at danjgregory.com. In the show notes, there's a blog section, and you can come and share your own takeaways there. So it's time now to get into the core content. And today, the Unstoppable Insight sections of the show is entitled The Welsh Way. And I'm going to deconstruct what enabled Wales, the country of Wales, to transform their fortunes and go from being ranked, their football team from being ranked 117th in the world, one of the lowest rankings they've ever had, to just 5 years later being in the semi-finals of one of the most prestigious tournaments in the world. So this is the Wales way. Now, behind every great team is a great leader. Wales' greatest football achievement was masterminded by Chris Coleman, and the transformation under his leadership has been quite remarkable. So when Chris Coleman took the helm just 4.5 years ago, Wales were ranked, as I said, 117th in the world. It's their lowest ever position. However, as a result of Wales's performance in this tournament, they are now ranked 11th in the world rankings, up there with the greatest teams on earth. And sadly, for me, above England. And, my nation are very sad about the fact that England went out so disappointingly in the tournament. And given the intense rivalry between England and Wales, it may be difficult for some Englishmen to show praise and shower praise upon the Welsh. However, I know that many of the English fans were cheering for the Red Dragons in that pivotal final game. It was one of British football's finest moments for over half a century. And a huge congratulations from me. I have an enormous amount of respect for the Welsh football team. I used to live in Wales. I have lots of friends there. It's a country I love to bits. It's a great place to go and visit. And the team certainly inspired a nation. Now, this is a story, though. This footballing story is the story of a great leader. It's the story of a man who was willing to dare to dream, and a man who has shown great resolve and desire in the face of adversity to hold on to his dream. You see, Coleman's playing career ended prematurely and in brutal circumstances as he sustained injuries in a car crash in January 2001, which actually forced him, who was then the Wales and Fulham centre-back, to retire from his football career. Now, the only silver lining of Coleman's early retirement was that he was able to be fast-tracked into top-flight management, where he became the Premier League's youngest ever manager when he took over the reins at Fulham in 2013, where he guided a turbulent team to 4 years of mid-table stability before being sacked finally for a poor run of results in April 2007. Now, Coleman's next job was in Spain with a team called Real Sociedad, fulfilling a long-standing ambition of his to manage abroad. But things didn't go according to plan, and he was eventually caught out being late for a press conference because he'd been out partying the previous night until 5 a.m, despite giving a whole range of other excuses for why he wasn't at the press conference. And his career took a bit of a rocky path from there, and he moved from Spain back to England to manage a lower flight team before being sacked and taking some time out of the game to do everything he could to make himself a better leader. Now, his decision was an important one, and he finally came back into management when he took on a Greek second division side, Larissa, in 2011. But despite some of his successes there, he left the club early due to the woeful financial predicament that the club was in, where he and his team were rarely able to be paid. So you can understand why he left. And despite all of his turbulent history as a manager, he landed his dream job in January 2012 by taking on the reins of Wales, taking on the national job of the Welsh football team. And although it was in tragic circumstances, as he succeeded the former manager Gary Speed, who sadly died 2 months earlier, it was a real dream opportunity for Coleman. And however, it initially looked like Coleman's turbulent past was going to haunt him again, losing his first 4 games in charge, the worst start ever by a Wales manager. And the most crushing result was a 6-1 mauling away to Serbia, one of the lower ranked teams. And it was Wales' heaviest defeat for over 16 years. So if you're a football fan or not, that's a really poor result. So understandably, Coleman considered his future at that point. And at that point, his players were unaware of their manager's inner turmoil, given that the expectations at that point were never very high for the Welsh football team. However, despite Coleman being under intense pressure, he was undeterred and he steered the Welsh team to one of their proudest moments since 1958 by securing their place at a major tournament for the first time since the 1958 World Cup by qualifying for the European Championships. And having gone from overseeing one of Wales' most humiliating results, Coleman had then orchestrated one of their proudest moments, and that was just the beginning. Qualifying for the tournament was step one. So let's look at some of the factors that led to Wales' tremendous transformation, starting with Coleman's inspirational leadership, where he conquered adversity to succeed against all the odds. So number one is to lead from the heart. Chris Coleman has been an inspirational leader and motivator to the Welsh team and their supporters. He had a dream and a plan and he stuck to it, providing his players with clarity and consistency. One of his players commented on his leadership style, saying, "He doesn't make long speeches, but when you look at him, you can tell he means everything he says. It comes from the heart. By the time you leave the dressing room, you're ready to go into battle." And as the figurehead of the team, his leadership provided a strong backbone, which is critical to the success of any team. Coleman's fair approach and determination has earned him the respect of his players and a nation as he worked tirelessly to get the best out of his team and forge an unbeatable team spirit. Number two is to dare to dream. It takes some nerve to ride around France as they arrived in a team bus bearing the slogan, "The Dragon Will Rise." But that's what it did, and the nerve is exactly what Wales displayed. It sent a clear message that this team had arrived in France to compete. And when interviewed after the victory in the quarterfinals against Belgium, beating a team ranked second in the world to qualify for the semi-finals of the tournament for the first time in the nation's history, Coleman said, "Dream. Don't be afraid to have dreams. Because 4 years ago I was far away from this, as you can imagine. And look what can happen if you work hard enough and you're not afraid to dream and you're not afraid to fail. Everybody fails. I've had more failures than successes, but I'm not afraid to fail." Coleman and his players dared to dream. And this leads nicely to number three, to defy fear. The key to Coleman's and Wales' success was the absence of fear. There was no fear of failure, no fear of any opposition, and no fear of any consequences. All of the players spoke of this fearlessness which had been drummed into the team. In contrast, senior executives from the England team had gone on to comment regarding England's dismal performance by saying that the England players were scared out on the pitch. They were dwarfed by the pressure of failure, and they'd attracted this level of pressure to themselves by repeatedly going out on press conferences saying that the games ahead were going to be tough games or difficult games. Their mindset was not the same as Wales, who approached their opponents fearlessly. Coleman says not being afraid to fail was key to his country's greatest night of football as they reached the European semi-finals. Being fearless is one thing. Wales also had the winning mentality in the form of number 4, desire. The Welsh team realised that each game was a battle that they can win, whoever the opponent. They had the confidence, and more importantly, they had the desire for success. Coleman said it's not just about talent. It's about players with a good mentality. You have to have heart and desire, and it's that carried us through a lot of the games. The players showed up to make their mark and show what they can do. They had the will to work hard and learn and the desire to win. When you dare to dream and you back your dreams with desire, you can achieve far more than you may have previously ever imagined. Number 5, unwavering belief. Wales showed what is possible when a team functions as a team with a winning mentality and deep reserves of self-belief. Coleman developed a team with a winning identity and strong belief. He said, "We have a good team and we know what we're about. Whether people say good or bad things, it's only ever been about what we think of ourselves and each other. We believe in each other." Star player Gareth Bale went as far as booking his holiday for the day after the final, saying, "Why can't we do it?" He had such confidence that they would stay the difference that he booked his flights after the tournament had finished when others had not done that with other teams. Now, this belief amongst the team undoubtedly boosted their confidence and enhanced their performance throughout the tournament. With each success, the confidence of the squad increased and it spurred them on to the next challenge, which leads us to number 6, teamwork. As basketball legend Michael Jordan says, talent wins games, but teamwork wins championships. Now, they didn't win the championship, but they got as far as they've ever been before. They've set a record for their nation and they've defied all odds in what they achieved. Now, teams work better when everyone involved is singing off the same hymn sheet. Wales' strength is they're very much the sum of their parts. Every player knows his exact role and the style of play expected. Now, Gareth Bale may be the star player in many eyes, for those of you who know football, but he shares the view that this is a team who work together as one team with no egos. And he said, the team is the star. There are no stars in our team. We are all together. We all work as one. We all run for each other. We all tackle for each other, fight for each other. We're a very close team. We get along like brothers. We are here having fun and we have no fear. This is a team who demonstrated the hallmarks of an unstoppable team. That togetherness, unity, organization, and a fearless desire to win. A team willing to attack, defend, and run through brick walls for each other. When the team score, all the players celebrate, even those on the bench who have not played in the tournament or contributed to the game. The team brought a deep sense of collective unity. And not only that, they brought a deep sense of fun. When not training or playing, they were challenging one another at pool, table tennis, golf, having a good laugh, enjoying themselves, relaxing, unwinding, without letting the obvious pressures affect them. The team's ability to enjoy the whole experience and inject an element of fun despite these pressures are testament to the team's fearless mentality. Those who play together win together. And compare this to England, who on paper possess far more individual talent than Wales, but they did not possess the winning mentality, the desire, the fearlessness, and the infectious team spirit that has endeared the Welsh team to football fans across the world. Wales showed everyone what it means to be a team, but it goes one step further. Number 7, Unshakeable Pride. Throughout the qualification campaign and the tournament itself, there's been a real feeling of the Welsh team doing it for something bigger than themselves. They've been doing it for national pride. This is something that was instilled into them by their much respected late former manager Gary Speed, who sadly died 5 years ago. Previously, the Welsh players did not always sing the national anthem, much to the annoyance of the fans, particularly as the Welsh rugby team belt out the anthem with such gusto at the live rugby games. Gary Speed made it mandatory to sing, and Chris Coleman has carried this forward into the current era of the Welsh team. And it's clear that the team are now united by the love of the crest upon their shirts. They're playing for the team and their country, and the incredible emotion displayed whilst singing the national anthem shows real togetherness and not just empty words. Now, this had such a profound effect that it inspired a nation. And it was a culmination of their campaign called Together Stronger. Number 8, the team united a nation. A small nation in football terms. The nation of Wales got behind their team with the Together Stronger campaign, which isn't just a hashtag dreamt up by a marketing team in the Welsh Football Association. It's 2 words which combine to make a statement that means something. Working together, we can all achieve so much more than we can achieve alone. And the Welsh team embodied this mentality throughout the tournament. Now, without prompting or any incentive, the players began to tweet out this hashtag Together Stronger, and it's since been used in millions of tweets, and it's a centerpiece within Wales' success. The football team captured the hearts and minds of a rugby-mad nation. Everyone wanted to pull in one direction to support the football team. Together, they are stronger. And I'm not even going to make another England comparison. I think you're starting to see the picture. But think about what you can take from this message for your business or your team. How can you unite your tribe around your dreams, your ideals, and your message? Number 9 is to play to your strengths and stick to the game plan. 10 players started at least 5 of Wales' 6 matches in France, And though it meant others were disappointed and had to miss out, this level of consistency within the setup of the team meant that they were able to build upon the synergy of their off-the-field relationships that they'd built whilst carrying out the game plan on the pitch where it counts. Now, after losing to England in the group stages, it would have been easy for the Welsh team to have lost their morale, their heads to go down, and even more so when they found themselves 1-0 down against Belgium in the 13th minute of the quarterfinals. But instead, the team used their passion, their pride and determination to double down, rise up, and work collaboratively to succeed. They truly unleashed the dragon. The unity of the team made them resilient to their setbacks, and this solidified their success in the tournament. The team knew their strengths, and they did not deviate. Chris Coleman said, "We just stuck to the game plan. We knew what we had to do." That is what got them to the semi-finals. Number 10 is the extra 1%, the Welsh Way. Wales have a fail to prepare to fail motto. What I discovered next came as a huge surprise to me, but it soon became evident that the level of preparation that Wales put into this tournament has been absolutely paramount to their success. The nation of Wales have their own manifesto for the style of football that they want to play. It's called the Welsh Way, which has become central to everything that they do. And it's been implemented across the board, right from the under-16s to the international team. And the plan has been designed to create a clear pathway for the long-term success of the Welsh national football team and to develop the players of the future. The Welsh Way is an innovative approach that has formed a huge part of their preparation for the tournament and their success as they seek the extra 1% that makes the difference between winning and losing. You'll hear about marginal gains in other sports, and Wales have brought this to football. They have an army of sports scientists, sports technologists, all there to help give the team a cutting edge, both mentally and physically. And some of the data behind the work that Wales have put into their preparation is akin to that scene in the film Moneyball, if you've ever seen it, starring Brad Pitt, where the coach of a baseball team uses computer-generated analysis to design an optimal team and acquire new players on a budget that they had to create this winning team based upon what they know about what's likely to happen based upon the statistics and all these other different numbers. Now, no stone had been left unturned to provide Chris Coleman and his team with all the performance data that they require to give them the extra 1% required in elite sport. For months and months prior to the tournament, the Welsh backroom staff and the team had been going through every minute detail of every player within every team that would feature in the tournament. As such, no other players in the European tournament were provided or prepared with as much data about the opposition as Wales. The team received a video analysis of the opposition a few days before the game to prepare for the game ahead. And in addition, each player had specific data on his direct opponent that would be fed directly onto his iPad. So, for example, the Welsh defenders were able to study which way the opponent's forwards tended to move, which foot the strikers favoured, the type of runs he would make, and where he goes for corners. So for the defenders, they could mark out these key strikers and neutralise the threat. This incredible detail meant that the Wales team could create their game plan based upon how they know the opposition tend to play. Now, this level of mental preparation meant that the team were always 100% equipped prior to kickoff, both mentally and physically. In addition to all the data and the visual coaching that the leadership team were able to provide, the Welsh team also used cutting-edge training methods when it comes to fitness. They used a traffic light system to monitor fitness through daily saliva and urine tests. Each training routine was tailored and customized according to the results of the testing. For example, if the test results show that their star player, Bale, needed to rest, the red will trigger this and his workload will be reduced. And if the tests show another player needs extra training, the green light will be given and the training plans are then increased. All the training sessions are filmed, analysed and poured over and fed back to the players to get them ready like a well-tuned, well-oiled engine for kickoff. It's a machine in action. The key here for future generations is that the Welsh Way is a system which has been implemented at the under-21 level, the under-16 level, all the way through to the top national team, which is designed to give individual action plans to each player to make them more rounded performers. So what will the future look like for Wales? Well, Chris Coleman wants his players to go into the next campaign with the same hunger and desire as they've experienced over the past 2 or 3 years. That same hunger, drive, and desire, and passion and pride that took them to the semi-finals of this tournament. But he acknowledges that the mark that Wales have made in this tournament mean that they will no longer be treated as underdogs. Teams are now aware of what they can do, and Wales will be expected to win. Coleman knows that he'll have to do something different. He says, "You have to be brave, and I will. If I fall flat on my face, then so what? I'd rather do that than do nothing. I didn't make any changes in my first campaign, and I won't make that same mistake again." He knows what he needs to do, and I hope you found these lessons useful as you think about how you're going to elevate your own performance, not only as an entrepreneur or a leader, but in the communities around you, and how you can inspire your tribe to get behind your ideas and your message. So this week's challenge, as the Welsh squad mark the end of one journey and embark upon another, your challenge this week is to consider how you can be inspired to improve your own performance in business from the lessons that I've shared with you today. So please do come and share your own unique insights on the blog. Today's show notes can be found at www.danjgregory.com/46. And remember, always surround yourself with those on the same path as you. As the saying goes, together stronger. That is all for this week. I'm back again on Thursday for the final part of the Mega Business series, this 4-part series, bringing the fireworks to close the show with Ben Simpkin, who's worked in many different industries and generated more than, get this, $1.45 billion increased sales for his clients. That's $1.45 billion increase in sales for clients over the past 10 years. We're going to be talking about how to use Facebook to drive more customers and revenue to your business. And you'll also hear about how Ben got his start and built his enormous empire, his business empire, and all the lessons that he's learned along the way. So do not miss this 4th and final part of this series. It's going to seriously help you to build your business this year. Thank you again for listening to the show today. If you've enjoyed it and you got value from our time together, please do share this episode on your favorite social media platforms. If you have friends who are Welsh or enjoyed watching the football, please tag them in this episode. Make sure you share the word. I really appreciate your help in getting the word out there. Until next time, go out there, unleash your greatness, build your empire, make your impact, and live your ultimate life. You are unstoppable.